for Stretching Your Dollar During Coronavirus, the third workshop in the virtual edition series brought to you by Tools for Life Learning Center by Loudoun Habitat for Humanity. I am Tara Jensen, Program Manager at Loudoun Habitat, and joining me today is Mike Pontikis, Treasury Management Officer at Sandy Spring Bank and Loudoun Habitat Board Member.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hey, Mike. Thank you so much for taking time out. I know this has been a really busy week for you and the banks in general, but today we're here to talk about stretching your dollar during these stay-at-home orders. So for those of you that are joining us in the comfort of your own home, thank you for tuning in. Mike and I are going to talk through some targeted points, and then we're going to get to some questions from you, our viewers. If you do have any questions, go ahead and ask them through Zoom's chat or Q&A function, and we'll get to as many as we have time to answer. With that, let's get started, Mike.
Okay, great.
Yeah. What are some tips you can offer for stretching your dollar on a daily basis during stay-at-home orders?
So there's kind of two approaches to this, because one, you're thinking some people are just staying home, have the ability to work from home, things like that. Other options are, people that may have lost a job, or maybe a spouse lost a job, two income households that are one or possibly even none. So we'll kind of touch on both, both ways. Particularly those that are still able to work, like myself. Fortunately, I'm able to work from home. Actually, by not doing my everyday stuff, I'm kind of saving money. I don't, the occasional Starbucks in the morning isn't happening, and, saving money on gas to get to work. I think I'm in week 5 at home now, and I filled up gas once, so where I normally do about every 5 days. So, definitely save money there. And then, as far as that goes, it's just, I'm taking that money and dumping it into savings, as opposed to, online shopping and those kind of things, which can get, can get easy to do sometimes, but definitely tempting. But, I think more importantly, people who maybe their income has reduced, whether it's loss of a job or cut back hours, things like that, which is really where a lot of the challenges are coming here. One of the, I guess, advantages of being at home, like I said, spending less money, but it's also, for those who are currently not working, it's given them a little more time to focus on things like, balancing their budget, making sure their budget's in check, things like that. When you're going out grocery shopping, which, a lot of people now have to plan for it, as opposed to just, I'm going to stop on the way home, or, oh, I'm bored, let me run out really quick. So, when planning for that, sit down and actually make a list of things that you're going to shop for, grocery shopping. Typically, if you make a list of things to grocery shop, you'll buy less food. They always say never go to the grocery store hungry, also, because you see a lot of things that look really good right now,
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, the donut aisle and muffins and all sorts of things like that. It's really easy to grab some extra things. But, when you kind of plan out your meals, a week or two ahead of time, make a list of what you need, see what items you can reuse, or, particularly you can buy sometimes a little bit bulk, because, you tend to get discounts on those kind of things. And then there's, with different bills and things like that, call companies, check your cable company, check your insurance company, different things like that, give them a call. I know there's been a lot of insurance companies that have said that they're helping people out during this time, giving discounts, some of them may even be, waiving part of your monthly premiums, things like that. Make sure to contact your insurance provider, vehicle insurance, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, whatever it is, to ask them what they have available, because, some companies have announced billions, like literally billions of dollars that they're giving back in premiums to their clients and things like that. I think mine said they're doing a 15% discount, which, every little bit helps, so doing things like that. For people that are, have credit cards and things, now might be some of the times that you got to start cashing in those rewards, if you're saving it for, the holidays or somebody's birthday or something like that. If you need it, now might be the time that you can sort of dig into that. There's some people who may be saving to buy a home, things like that in the future, and then they lost a job. Unfortunately, that might have to be pushed back a little bit. We're hoping this is short term. We're hoping this is temporary, but as of now, I don't think anybody knows. And, it's becoming a little bit tough, for a lot of people. People that have gym memberships, gyms have to close, and they've been closed, I don't know, 4 weeks now or something like that. So, a lot of times they're suspending those memberships. I could save 30, 40, 50 bucks a month right there. Different things like that. I guess, I think that's a good kind of start. Like I said, spend a little bit of time, particularly for those who are out of work or working less hours and things. You have the time, so make sure you're spending it wisely to kind of review your finances.
Right. Yeah, those are all really great ideas. Thank you. You had touched on calling the insurance company. Are there other relief programs or resources that you recommend looking into?
Yeah, so there are different government programs that they've kind of put out. I'm not a government program expert, so I don't want to, specifically name any, but the government themselves kind of put out, whether it's increases on unemployment for those who have lost jobs or even cut back hours significantly. They've done some where they're given more. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw it was like up to $600 more per week in unemployment benefits. I definitely check, government websites and things like that. Don't just check, some random, random websites from people. I mean, they may have some accurate information, but it may not be totally accurate. Try to see if anything has, .gov at the end. I think we just posted something down there. With the consumerfinance.gov, if I'm reading that right.
Right, yeah, so that's Bureau that has a lot of relief program. Anything related to coronavirus relief programs can be listed there.
Right. Yeah, and so, take a look at that. There are also, certain mortgage companies and things like that that are getting relief. So contact, your mortgage holder and ask them if they're relief programs. Sometimes they, a lot of banks might be willing to sort of, okay, we'll skip a month or two, because they'd rather have that. And they kind of put it on the back end. I mean, you're not getting away with the money. You're just paying it in year 30, but, put it on the end of the loan. But they'd rather, have somebody miss 2 months of payments than default on a mortgage, obviously.
Right. Absolutely. So while we are at home, what are some ways we can better manage our finances? Do you have any tips on how to do that?
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot of these budgeting classes and stuff before, and one of the things that I always stress is that you have to treat your finances serious, and you have to pay attention to what's going on. While people are at home, like I said, they kind of have more time, hopefully. I know a lot of people have kids that aren't working that aren't in school. So, they're taking care of them and things like that. But, set aside a little bit of time, at least maybe every 2 or 3 days, to kind of just review your finances really quick. Doesn't have to be much. It can be 5 or 10 minutes. I'm not talking hours or anything, but, paying attention to your money, paying attention to your budget is really, really important. And, what I tend to find, people that kind of pay attention a little more, tend to find ways that they can save money. Start tracking your expenses, particularly if you're not the type of person that normally does that. A lot of people just, we walk around with these little plastic cards nowadays, and it's just easy to swipe and you don't really know what's going on. But, with bank software nowadays, I mean, they have online banking, they have apps. You could put apps on your phone. I mean, if you're playing slot machines on your phone, you certainly can put a bank app on your phone. You can pull up and see right then and there what's on it. You can see your transaction history and see where you have and have not spent money. And I always say this to people, and we to this point, it's 100% true. When you actually look into your finances, you always find areas that you could save. Whether it's just everybody has the occasional Starbucks or, the drink at the bar or whatever, which, hey, by all means, we're all adults here, we can do it. And, that's fine. But, if there's areas that we can cut, maybe those are some areas, which a lot of them have been cut now because they can't go out so much. But
yeah, forcing us to make those better choices, right?
To an extent, yeah, to an extent we are. And which, good kind of comes with the bad. So,
Right. We do miss those drinks sometimes, our little treats.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So you had touched on this. We're doing a lot more online and a lot more transactions. So are there ways that we can protect ourselves online? Is that something we should be concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, online safety is definitely important. There are a lot of scams out there, particularly, you see a lot through emails and through phones. Um, Government programs and things like that do not call you and do not email you. First of all, how do they know who you are through email? If they have things, whether it's IRS, they're not going to call you and ask for your bank account for your stimulus check. I think some of the direct deposits were going out this week, and I believe the week after next is when the checks start going out. They're never going to call you and say, give us your account number so we can deposit money. That's not the way the government works. They work old school. They still work through the mail. They have websites that you can log into, but they don't reach out to you through email and through phone and things like that. If they have communications that they need to get to you, they send it through the mail or they post it on their websites. I've never walked down the street and somebody said, hey, I've got $20,000 for you. Give me your account number. The same thing, it would never happen through email either, So when you see those email scams coming out, and I mean, they're pros, you kind of wish sometimes they would use their power for good, because I think the world would be a much better place. But unfortunately, there are people out there who try to take advantage of others, particularly people who don't quite understand the way that technology works and things like that. Make sure you're going to reputable websites, government-owned websites, as opposed to just so-and-so's blog or things like that. Like I said, they may have the right information, but they may not. And you don't want to, find out when it's too late. So, definitely protecting yourself like that. Beware of the scams that are out there. Whether it's through virus protection on your computers and those kind of things, you just got to protect yourself so that, you're leaving much less the chance that somebody can take advantage of you.
Right. Thank you. I think that's really important information to touch on, especially as we are all more online these days.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So how can we prepare financially right now for this re-entry into our normal lives it's pretty unpredictable at this point of when that might happen, but what can we be doing to make sure that when we do enter that back, we are entering into those normal lives, we are prepared?
Yeah. So we don't, there's so much that's unknown. And even, from a lot of what a lot of people are saying is things are going to be opened back up sort of in stages. It's not just going to be like, hey, starting Sunday, the world's back alive. It's not quite going to work like that. They're going to say, okay, we can allow restaurants again as long as they're limited to a certain amount of people, or we can do things like that, which again, I think maybe isn't a bad thing because it avoids that initial rush of spending and being, frivolous like that. So I think that's advantageous to us. Just, thinking, okay, fine, everything's done. We got through this and now we can just go back to how things were. Things might not work like that. So be careful. Don't think, okay, I've saved $500 over the last couple months. I can just go out and blow $500. You never know what's going to happen a couple weeks after that. So, I think, doing one of those, still being a little careful, kind of test the waters, dip your toe in a little bit as opposed to just jumping right in. I think that'll be the best, take your time. Use what you've learned also, while being a little more frugal, while saving a little more money. I mean, look, all of us are cooped up inside. I'm a very extroverted type person. Me sitting in my house, this is day 32 for me, it drives me nuts. Like it really does. With my windows up in my car by myself, I've gone on, several drives and things like that, just to kind of.
The world is still out there. I promise, Mike. It's waiting for you.
I know. But, it's sitting at home, like it, I don't know. It kind of drives me nuts when I see those things. So, but just because something's open doesn't mean I'm going to run out and try to hit every restaurant or every Starbucks or every, whatever, all at the same time. You got to take your time with it. I've learned a lot about my own budget, and seeing how, the difference, how much I've saved over the last month versus what I was spending before. I was like, wow, I never thought I was like a big spender, but apparently I spend a little more than I thought I did. And, I'll be able to use those tips and kind of, balance things out. But, do something nice for yourself. Don't get me wrong. Like when we're cooped up, everybody deserves to do something nice for themselves. Just, particularly initially, be a little careful with it. Just because you don't want to go out thinking everything's back to normal and everything opens for a month and then gets shut down again.
Right.
It's
always a possibility, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I did want to touch on one thing, Mike. We're always looking for ways to stretch our dollar, and with what is currently going on, I just want to make sure that all of our viewers out there are aware that the Restore is open and has a virtual store. So they have building supplies, appliances, home goods. So really stretching your dollar and shopping at the Restore can help with that too. So there are a lot of things like that.
Yeah, I saw some of the things online, when they posted, and I saw some of the items, and I'm like, oh, that would look cool in my house. But then I'm like, again, it's that balance. Do I really need it, sort of thing. And but certainly, there are items there that people can use every day, and buying it from the Restore. I mean, people are saving a boatload of money by doing that, and
right.
They don't sell items that are just completely torn up and stuff. I mean, it might be a little nick. Maybe a little nick here and there, but that's, particularly those with kids, that probably happened 2 weeks after you bought it anyway. So,
right.
Those kind of things.
Yes. So Mike, those are all the questions I have for you. I think we have some questions from our viewers. So do you mind if I jump right into those?
Yeah, please fire away.
Let's see. Does pausing my mortgage for some payments affect my credit score? That's a great question.
That is a good question. It's hard to answer that blanketly yes or no. Typically, the answer would be no. I would check with your bank or mortgage company first. In most cases, I will say it will not. Literally, what they do is, a typical mortgage is 360 months. So let's say you're into month 20, whatever. What they do is they take that payment and put it on the back end. So you're skipping this month, but now it's 361 months, or you're skipping 2 months and now it's 362 months. So it's kind of like a deal that they're working out with you, because again, the banks don't want a default. They don't want these mortgages to go into crisis mode or anything like that. If they have something, obviously anything like that, they should send you a letter or something like that, give you in writing if it's something that you can walk in person and do. Some of them may have forms already prepared. And it should say, if it does not say on there that it hurts your credit, they can't make it hurt your credit. They have to disclose this is bad. They don't have to disclose we're not doing anything. So I would say in most cases it should not affect your credit, but I guess in some cases it is possible, particularly if it's a more of a private lender, private money kind of thing. I would say I'd worry, I'd think about that a little more than one of the standard banks. So.
Right. Very good. Thank you so much, Mike. That's really good information. I think we'll all be able to take something from this. I think that is all we have time for today. Mike, I always learn really great tips from you. So thank you. I become better in my financial wellness every time we talk. So I really do appreciate your time.
I'm one of those people that's annoyingly complicated with my own, but I think, for everybody else, I always say it's good to know things about people. If you can pick up a tip here and there.
Absolutely.
It's helpful.
Yes. So on behalf of the Tools for Life workshop series by Loudoun Habitat for Humanity, an extension of our Tools for Life workshops offered exclusively and free of charge, visit loudounhabitat.org for past workshops and get to know what we have coming up in the next few weeks. We invite you to join us next week at the same time for our Transformation Trove, Finding the Perfect Refinishing Piece with Finished for Goods, Amy Taylor. We'll see you then.
Bye, everybody.